So let's go ahead and begin. And first, I want to thank Anthology Book Company and Matt for hanging out and for giving us this wonderful venue. Isn't it wonderful in here? I just love the guys. No speech? No. Okay. We'll go on. Okay. The other thing I want to do, besides adjusting my microphone, which I usually do about 10 times during this, what I'm doing, is I want to introduce my crew. I have the best crew in the world. And starting with, I better start with my husband. Otherwise, there's going to be trouble at home. No. My husband, John, is in the back. Sonia Gower, who is always here, sitting up here, and she is also the founder and president of Third Eye Paranormal, which is the group that I'm part of, and she's brought some things today for paranormal stuff. And then I also have in the back Kevin White and Lisa White. Yes, they are together. Lisa, well, I'll keep going. And then Michelle Leeds is right next to Lisa. And what I was going to tell, and Lisa and Sonia are all part of my psychic training program, as is Nancy, who's sitting up here. And Rhonda is beginning very soon. She's the newest member. Kevin is on Third Eye Paranormal, the treasurer, so he goes ghost hunting with us. So again, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. And so now, how many are here for ghost stuff? And how many are here for connecting stuff? Connecting? Both. Okay. You don't want to, close down your options. No. Okay. I kind of like to know because that'll kind of lead us where we need to go as far as what we're doing here. So, who here has seen me before? Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah.
Follows directions.
Yeah, he does follow directions well. Good man. I am Sarina Baptista, obviously, and I am a psychic medium. I'm also a trainer. I train psychics, and I do paranormal ghost hunting. I am the psychic lead for Third Eye Paranormal, which is the group, again, that Sonia's part of. And, oh, yeah, Michelle's part of that, too. Yeah, and Lisa also. So all of us here are... We're ghost hunting geeks. And the reason why I'm doing ghost hunting is because once I found out that I was psychic, of course, you have that other realm. There's the realm that I like to talk to, which is where our loved ones are in this nice, beautiful, high vibration space. But that wasn't good enough. No, the ghosts had to come and bother me and say, oh, we're here too. We exist also. And so that became part of what I do, because what I do is I help them move on, give them a voice. A lot of them are just scared. They didn't know, they didn't really know that they died, or they died very traumatically, let's say. There's also some very not nice spirits in that realm, which we have encountered. But what my job is to move them on and to have them continue on their journey on the other side. And if they don't, then, that's their prerogative. I never force them to do it at all. But if they're in a house, and especially if there's kids involved, then they have to leave. And so that's another thing that Sonia and I do, is we do clearings. So, if you have a haunted house that you think, and you need some assistance, we're going to talk about things that you can do to get rid of the things that go bump in the night if they bug you. And I would say anybody, we're all psychic, and anybody who is thinking about enhancing their psychic abilities, you definitely want to clear those energies out. And we'll talk about that too. So if you've seen me before, some of you have heard my story, and maybe not. I know that there's some new faces here. So briefly, I did not know I was psychic until 4 years ago. 4.5 years ago, my 7-year-old son died very suddenly. He caught the flu. 5 days later, he was dead. So that obviously, sent us into kind of this world where, no parent certainly wants to go there. But I always knew that he was close by. I knew because he was doing things in the house. He was moving things around. He would knock toys off of shelves and, all these things. And I knew that it was him. Being his mom, I knew. And so I went on a search to find my why. Why did he go? And I found out just 6 months later when I was talking to a psychic in California that she said, okay, did you know that you could do this too? And I thought, really? What does that mean? What do you mean I can do this too? And all of a sudden I started hearing them. It was hearing the guides and hearing my son. And it was from there I got into training immediately and was just able to, it moved very, very quickly for me. So here I stand, with your loved ones behind me. Going, shut up. They'd rather talk to you than me talk to you about who I am, but also, we have, our friends, we're doing both sides of this tonight, which is going to be really interesting because we do have a resident who hangs out here. We think his name is George, and we have EVPs of George. We did do an investigation here at Anthology. Does that freak any of you out that you know that George is here watching you in the bathroom? George likes the bathroom. Now you can tell George, get out of the bathroom, and that's, yeah. but we do have that realm here too, and he's very friendly. Well, except for the coffee tree people. He doesn't really like them very much. He throws coffee beans at them and things like that. So, what was the last thing? Do you remember where you told that story of what he did? I know he knocked a whole bag of coffee beans off of the shelf, but he also did something to Kelsey, and I'm trying to remember what it was. And she, it was one of those things that freaked out. No, I should have gotten that from her. I know for me, they were doing renovation a couple doors down, and I was talking. All of a sudden, George was like, I come here every day, and all of a sudden, George was like right there with me. And I said, oh, hi, how are you doing? And then I went over and I said, well, have you guys had increased activity? And right when I was saying that, a spatula came off the shelf at me. And you don't need to get my attention that much. Luckily, it wasn't the knife that was right next to it. I'm grateful to George for that. Thank you. But it was, kind of shocking if it was anybody else but me. Who knows what would have happened. So who here has had experience with maybe somebody on the other side or a ghost, and maybe you don't know which one? Yeah? What kind of experience have you had?
Me?
Yes.
At her cabin, her grandfather was there. And
so that's a good ghost, or was he not a good
ghost? He is a good ghost.
Now, do you think he's crossed over, or do you think he's a ghost?
I think he may have. Well, he was a ghost. I don't know if he's still there or not. I'm not positive. But he was.
He definitely was there.
Absolutely.
And how did you know it was him?
Well, he snored.
Oh my gosh! So are you sure it wasn't her? No.
Well, I called my cousin and I said, "What do I do?" I was living alone there in the winter, and I said,
"Oh,
there was all this noise in his bedroom."
Oh my gosh!
And I even went outside to make sure there were no trees touching the roof or anything.
Right.
And then I went back to bed in the room which is next to his, and it was his snoring. And so
That's pretty blatant.
Well, and so then I said, "Grandpa, you are scaring me." And I heard his feet hit the floor, 3 steps, and the door, there's a door jangle that opens.
Yeah.
It opened and shut, and that was it.
And that was it. You kicked him out of his own.
He does tons of stuff.
Has he been back?
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about the difference between ghosts and our loved ones, because a lot of people ask me that. They're really somewhat afraid to to tap into their loved ones because they're afraid they're going to tap into the that other dimension as well. And I can I understand that because for me it was a different journey for me because I was supposed to help them, and so that's why they started coming to me. But for most of you, it's about intention, setting intention that you don't want them or that you only allow high vibration around you. So let's talk about vibration. So when we die, We leave our bodies, obviously. We got to do that. And we are souls. At that point, we're pure energy. We're all energy right now. Everything around us is energy. At that point, our energy is just significant, just a very slight degree, let's say, above when we are in bodies. So that's why you'll see Uncle George at the end of the bed right when he passes, or they can really manifest very well, full body apparitions, talking. You can hear them audibly because they're so close to our vibration. So that's what happens when we immediately pass. Now, from what I'm told, obviously I haven't died in this lifetime, so I have to wait until I can verify this for sure. But what I'm told is that there is a light, or a tunnel, a lighted tunnel, or something that they are drawn to. Now, if you've had if somebody has had a traumatic death, like a car accident or something along those lines, or they have not been the best person, or they feel they haven't been a good person, then they'll probably either not see the light, or they might even turn away because they're afraid of damnation. They're afraid of hell. They're afraid of the judgment of God. So that is the single most reason I find people stay in this realm. And most of them are Catholics, who believe, and I grew up Catholic. They believe that that they weren't good. They weren't good enough. So they're going to sit in purgatory. And, that's where they end up. So they're in this realm and they think, oh, I'm sitting here in purgatory. Oh, when's this going to be over? It's not over yet. Oh, I guess I'm not good enough yet. And that's how they exist. So I'm here to tell them, that no, you don't need to do that, that there isn't this judging God that is going to damn you to hell, that the God that I know, that I converse with on the daily basis, is a loving God, a forgiving God, and one that accepts all of his children. And obviously, if you do stuff that you're not supposed to do, then yeah, there's atonement for it, but it's not, at least in my truth, there isn't a hell. I find hell the place where those people are who think that they're not good enough, because yeah, can you imagine? So then what happens, for those like my son who went immediately into the light, he knew exactly, and they're always greeted by somebody. And my son was greeted by his grandfather, my dad, and my husband's mother. Were there to greet him. Now, my son had not met them in this lifetime, but he knew immediately who they were. There's just this knowing, that of who they are, and he felt safe. So he went with them, immediately crossed over. Then what started to happen was his vibration, which was at this level, starts to increase, and he starts to learn more about what his lifetime was about here, and the whole life review and things like that. And the point is to continue that journey and to continue to learn, so you can raise your vibration. That's what it's about.